What's good, folks? Once again, this is SilentMode, maker, artist, and LEGO enthusiast. I'm a little bit on edge at the moment because any minute now I'm expecting a delivery from Amazon. They have deliberately waited until I'm going to be streaming, so I'm expecting the doorbell to ring any moment now. But for those who are joining in, thanks for joining in. I really appreciate it. And as you may be able to see from the screen, which I can see right now, this is the very first part of my attempt to design a version of Pallet Town from Pokémon. This is in response to LEGO's revealing of the first wave of Pokemon sets, and I would have thought personally they'd go for something like this, something involving minifigures perhaps, but no, they went with a bunch of display sets. And so I thought, why not show them how it's done? They'll probably steal the idea anyway. So I had the idea of making Pallet Town, and I'll just show you a bunch of reference images I've collected. So these are some screenshots of Pallet Town from the various generations of Pokemon games. Obviously from the very left you have the monochrome version, all the way up until the modern version, which uses 3D imagery. Oh, hello John. Amazon just drops and goes here in the US. I'm not sure what that means, but thanks for stopping by. And hello, Never Too Old. So you're joining me at the very beginning of this journey of recreating one of these in LEGO. And it's a little bit scary because I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. But I'm just going to show you guys some reference images of Pallet Town from the Pokemon games. This one is the original from the original Game Boy. You can see it's very basic, and it improves over time as color is introduced. That's the Generation 2 version. You got the newer Generation 1 on the, I want to say it's the NDS, Nintendo DS, or maybe even before that. That's actually a watercolor image of Pallet Town as it was originally conceived. I downloaded these images somewhere on the internet, and then a few other images from various cartoons and movies. Just show you guys real quick, but these are all the references I have, and somehow, some way, I'm going to create a LEGO model. Alright, so let's give this a shot. Yeah, for those who just joined, hope you guys are doing alright, and certainly better than I am. I've just been well, first of all, I'm still waiting for this Amazon delivery. Well, I have, oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean, John. I know that they'll arrive because I have my email client open and they'll say that they've delivered. If that happens, then I'll just go downstairs and see where they've left everything. But usually they ring the doorbell. So excuse me. So let's see. First off, if we go back to the slideshow, I'll just go right back to this original version. I did some counting before this live stream, and I noticed that this part of the map is 20 by 18 sections. So if you look at those rock pieces, for example, that's 1 second. That's not 1 second. That's one section. And so it's 20 across and 18 down in this screenshot. So I did a little bit of maths, and if we take one of those sections to be 4 studs square, it's going to be 80 studs across and 72 studs down. How's it going? Zero delay or O delay? Thank me for being British. I've actually not heard that one before, but I will take that as a compliment. Thanks for stopping by, though. As with everybody who stops by, I appreciate it. So I really don't have much of an idea how I'm going to get this done, but if we assume that one of these is going to be a single tile, we would have to take a bunch of these to get an idea of how big this is going to be. So that's 12. That's 16, unless my maths is completely wrong. That's 20. Okay. Then we'll just clone this, turn it round, and then we want 18 going in this direction. So that's 21 at the moment. Take away 3, that leaves 18. So we're dealing with something this big. If you wanted to put it in base plate terms, we would want, if we wanted an exact match, we would want 4 32 by 32 base plates, which I will fetch from here. It's always a tough thing to try and position everything. So we'd want 4 of these. And then to get the 20 tiles, we'd want to put, let's put it over here. So to get the 20 tiles across, we put this base plate here and one there. And then to get the 18 tiles down, we'd want some of these smaller base plates. Okay, we actually have 8 by 32s here, so I'll use a couple of those. And then we want a 16 by 8. So as I imagine it right now, this is how big the map would be. And just a thought actually at the moment, there's a lot of talk at the moment about alternative brands. There's a whole bunch of YouTubers who have basically started promoting alternative brands for whatever reason. I had thought of perhaps using an alternative brand's parts to make this, assuming that I don't have the necessary ones from LEGO. So I had thought about it, but it's very early days yet, so I'm hoping that I'm able to finish this. But this is the base that I'm going to be working with, and before I do anything else, I'm going to save everything. I've been thinking about this, but I have absolutely no idea where this is going to go. So I'm thinking at the moment, probably the first thing I want to do is establish the bases, as in the different kinds of terrain, and we can always build up from there later. So first thing I'm going to do is take some 4x4 plates and then just put a few of them down. Let's put 5 of them, sorry, 6 of them for the time being. And so what am I going to do? First, I'm going to color one of these, let's say dark green, and one of these regular green, one I'll go with sand green, I think, and then maybe one in a tan color, one light or medium stone grey, one dark stone grey. So then what I'm going to do is create a submodel from this, except I can't because it's just one piece, I think. But the idea that I had was that this is going to represent a tree, and then this will represent a patch of grass, and then you get the idea. And I'm doing it this way because there's going to be quite a bit of repetition. Okay, so now I can create a submodel, and I'll just call this tree. Right, so now I'm going to have to take a picture of the map as it stands right now and figure out where the trees go. It's probably going to be easier if I use the original map and then just put everything down accordingly. Alright, so we're going to start from there. I'm just going to place some trees. I'm actually not used to building things at this scale, so I'm learning as I go. So that's 5 across. I think I should be able to add some more of those emojis. So the more, let me gather my thoughts. The more members I have, the more icons I can add, if I remember correctly. Then we'll go all the way down. Reminds me, I should probably play some music just to make things a little bit more interesting, just a tiny bit more interesting. There we go. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 across. If I make a mistake, I can always come back and correct it. Whoops. Okay, I may have messed up at some points. I don't think I have, but yeah, one of these is overlapping somewhere. That's the one. Okay, so if we come back here, I've got a basic layout for some trees. This is based on the original map. And then I guess I can make some adjustments. For example, instead of trees around here, there's a fence. Where do I go from here? Yes, that's another section I could add some water. So I'll take another one of these and color it some kind of blue color. Blue's good. And then to be able to create a submodel, I will add some tiles. Again, this is just a preliminary design. No problem. Yep. Let's give him some transparent colors. Okay, let's just go with this at the moment. We can always come back and change it. So I'll create a submodel called water, and we can place them accordingly. Let's put that there for the time being. Okay, so according to the original map, got one there and one there, and I think one there, and it goes up 3. You know, I'm really not keen on that design, so instead of having different blues, I'm just going to make everything the same color. There we go. So change that one, and the other ones have changed, which is why I've created submodels. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing with the grass, and I'll just give it a basic design. Okay. I'll just continue filling in the gaps. Those bits there. Hello, Alexandria. Alexandria, let me say it properly. How are you doing? I'll tell you what, it's been a very, very interesting start to the year, and it's been a very interesting week last week. I won't bore you with all the details, but I'll just say it was very, very interesting. Well, good to hear that you're okay, and yeah, you've been going through quite a few things yourself. But anyway, it's good to see that you're still with us. Okay, that's all the no, that's not quite all the grassy areas. There is a patch just here, but bear in mind that we can always go back and modify these. But yeah, good to hear that you're doing okay. I think this is where it gets a little bit dangerous, I think. So yeah, for those who just joined in, I am starting one of my big projects this year, which is trying to recreate Pallet Town from Pokémon, because for whatever reason LEGO decided they weren't going to do it for their first wave, and so I've taken it upon myself to show them how it's done. Let's see how it goes before we get too excited. Alright, this, I think we can just leave this as a regular plate. Except I probably do want to add something to it so that we can make changes if necessary. I'll just put this there and make it the same color. What will I call this? I'll just call this path. And if I look at the first generation map is very different to the one that I'm thinking of doing, which you can see on the screen. Maybe I should put that one on the screen so it's more obvious as to what exactly I'm doing. That's the one. And I'll just make this a little bit bigger. So this is the map I'm following right now, and obviously we can update it for a different generation, different design. But let's continue. But yeah, I was thinking, without getting too far ahead of myself, instead of buying Lego elements to make this, why not go with something like Go Bricks? Because you see what? Hey Tristan. Because it does seem to be a thing at the moment with people basically promoting alternative brands, and I just thought, instead of being just another person building the same sets as everybody else, why not take it further and actually use other companies' elements to make something? Yes, you remember correctly, Alexandria. So Pallet Town is actually a very small town, and there are three buildings. There's the player's house, there's the rival's house, and then there's the lab, which is where Professor Oak is. And yes, Tristan, this is Pallet Town, which is probably one of the very first things you'll see if you played the original Pokemon. Yeah, it's one of those gosh, it's one of those games that you can easily find yourself spending way too much time playing. Okay, that's incorrect. Okay. So Tristan is planning a tabletop LEGO game. Is it one that you designed and created yourself, or is it somebody else's game? Nice. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to change gears a little bit and add, it looks like some rough grass. So I'll use the sand green plates and I'll add some of these round tiles for decoration. I'm only adding these parts so I can make submodels, which should make them easier to update in bulk. Hey, if you're still making videos, that would be a particularly good one to feature, I think. I actually do kind of miss the I don't know if anyone remembers the LEGO games themes, the board games you can make out of LEGO. Didn't actually play any of them, but they had some really good parts in them. Well, be sure to let us know how it goes. Excellent. Okay, what's throwing me off at the moment, you see where those fence posts are with that sign. I'm not sure how to tackle that particular bit yet. I'll just put these here for the time being. Did you get them from Lidl? Which is, I remember you usually get storage units from Lidl. Nice. A couple of those there, I think. That's one particular thing I miss, because unfortunately I don't live so close to one anymore. Going to Lidl, I don't really have much need to anymore, but I used to live quite close to one and it was great for picking up some random items. But I don't have that privilege. I can't even say it. I don't have that privilege anymore. Actually, yeah, whoops, that goes here. think a couple more of these, and then we've got this space obviously for one of the houses. That's probably going to be the most challenging parts of designing this town. So I've actually been printing a couple more sorting trays, which also kind of doubles the storage. But I still envy the idea of having those sorting units, those storage shelves. Thank you, thank you, Tristan. I definitely appreciate the compliment. But yeah, following on from that, I mentioned how a lot more people these days are promoting the alternative brands, and I'm always thinking of how I can make contributions. I personally don't like the idea of just doing the same things as other people. So, oops. I think this particular project, could be very good for just showing that you can do something different with a licensed theme. But also doing something different with LEGO itself, including the use of alternative brands. Oops. Okay. Oh, I'm not supposed to play that one. That's an incomplete song. Yes, I chose this scale because it's going to be roughly minifigure scale. As a matter of fact, I could just add one for reference. Give me just a second. Another thing I missed from LEGO Digital Designer, I could have they had templates so you could add an assembled minifigure just like that. So yeah, I could have one of those stored as a templates, and then whenever I need it, excuse me, just drop it in. And so, yeah, you could say this is minifigure scale because one figure in the Pokemon game would take up one of these spaces. And I guess this way you got the option of having minifigures, or you could be really, really ambitious and create your own figures. Okay. Okay, now where was I? Right, so I had this. I may as well fill in that space there. Although, well, that is an option. That is definitely an option. We will look into that in the near future. Welcome back, Never Too Old. Going to add these here for the time being. So there are a few questions I there are a few questions I thought about in the run-up to doing this. The first one is, how accurate do I want this to be compared to the games? Would I want to add some little quirks or signatures to the whole thing? I'm not sure. Looks like something went a little bit wrong here, but let's not split hairs. So along the way, always remember to save your stuff, because I really don't want to have to go back and redo things. All right. Well, yes, of course, never too old. Gotta have my signature on there somewhere. Gotta let people know who did what. Okay. Right, so it looks like I got this bit wrong. This is actually a little bit wider. The houses for both the player and the rival are the same size. And okay, this is where the post box goes. So I suppose I could add this. Oh no, that's, well, it looks like a sign there. But in the original game it was a sign, but in the newer games it's a post box. Alright, so what I'll do for the time being is I'll just put I don't know, maybe just a brick there. And then we'll create the submodel and call it just call it a sign. Well, you know, when it comes to putting your signature on things, it doesn't have to be a special piece like I have. It could be a combination of pieces. It could be one particular piece that you like to use. Just something where people can recognize that you know, it's this person who made something. Well, speaking of pieces, I cannot wait to show you guys my upcoming second and third AliExpress hauls. They should be arriving any day now. So yeah, the same way that people like Never Too Old and a bunch of other people have been promoting and encouraging people to investigate alternative brands, I think I'm gonna be doing the same thing with encouraging people to look at using alternative brand parts. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it looks like I have to make this water a little bit wider, but that is all good. There we go. And then it comes up to here. And then add the rest of these as pathways. Alright, so it looks like we have the basic layouts of Pallet Town. Well, I hate to spoil the surprise, but I have actually ordered a bunch of Go Bricks parts, and the one thing I ordered them from AliExpress, and the one thing I didn't like was how much it cost to post them. So if all goes well, I will consider using the I'll consider using the direct websites. And one of the best things about them is that they offer parts. They usually offer existing parts in colors that LEGO don't make, or at least the parts in colors that we want from LEGO, but LEGO doesn't make them. And they also offer some very unique parts as well. Cool. Alright, so this is why I've created submodels for all these bits. You'll notice that I changed the color of the trunk. So updating one of them is going to change the rest of them. And so I guess I can demonstrate creating a tree. Now, in the original game, these trees were actually rocks when it came to Pallet Town, but in future games they were trees. Okay, let's see if I can create a very basic tree. Not quite following the Pokémon design, but that's okay for now. I think I may well have to sign up for the affiliate program, because I can imagine if this all goes really well, I'll be purchasing quite a few things from them. Whoops. What happened there? Okay. Alright, so we have that. At the moment, actually, let me go back and make just a small change. Well, just wait until I've added some color to them. Okay. Just thought I'd do this instead and make them studless. Alright, then we're gonna add some color. Not worried at the moment about whether these exist or not. Okay, just stack them on top like that. Maybe add one more. Whoops. Oh gosh. What I was trying to do was place a... There we go. Somehow I ended up all the way over there. Excuse me. Bright green and green. Yeah, green ones definitely exist. And the 2x2 plates definitely exist in bright green. And going back to what I was saying about Go Bricks, it's very, very likely that if you can't find a LEGO element in the color that you want, then Go Bricks would have it. If you wanted to do something a little bit different, we could alternate the colors like this. Just a thought. And so, without much effort, we have added a whole bunch of these trees. I think that looks pretty good. Of course, there's time for improvements. And of course, if I put the minifigure in this environment, you can see how well it scales. How's it going, Jedi? Gold 16 by 16 plates. That's I think that's a challenge that's a challenge I would be looking to take on. What to do with a gold 16 by 16 plate. Anyway, good to hear you're okay, Jedi. Thanks for stopping by. No rhyming intended. Yeah, gold 16 by 16 plate. It sounds like one of those things you just have to have, although there's no real reason to have one. Yeah, I can see myself picking one of those up. Alright. I think the grass looks... I'll leave the grass for now. It looks pretty good as it is. But I've got to do something about these pathways. I'm not too keen on them just yet. Alright, so we could do something along the lines of adding a pattern or so. Using these circle tiles. Could even throw one of these in there, except we can't put it there because that would ruin the pattern. If we wanted to switch things up a little bit, we could put one half of the circle there, and we could put the other one there. How's it going, Liam? Yeah, let's put these here for the time being, and you'll see what the pattern looks like. Yeah, I do like those particular tiles. And we could just play around with these. Play around with these combinations of tiles. We could get different repeating patterns if you like. Let's put this down here. We could even put that there, and then add. Oh my goodness, we got Hoarder as well, and Film Bricks. How you guys doing? So yeah, you could play around with these to see what you like, and of course you can add colors to each of these bits. Again, we're not worried about the actual colors used just yet. See, using tan. Where is it? Yeah, for the sake of argument, medium tan. And then maybe dark tan. There you go. And then of course, if you don't particularly like something, you can change it fairly easily. How's it going, Britain Bricks? Just about everybody's, for lack of a better term, coming out tonight. Hope you're doing all right, sir. Hope everybody's doing all right. Sorry. Okay, so even if this isn't the final design, we've got something for the trees, the pathways, the water. These bits here, I guess they're meant to represent, well, it looks like cut grass. We could change the color of the base a little bit. Could probably introduce bright green, I'm not sure. Okay, that was bright green. A lighter green, yellowish green perhaps. Oh, glad you like it, Tristan. I think at the moment it's for me anyway, it's an issue of choosing the right colors for things, which is for anyone who knows, it's always been a challenge using, well, for me anyway, using colors. But there's plenty of time there's plenty of time to change things around. All right. Have a good dinner, never too old. Oh gosh, we're almost at the hour. I guess one small thing I can add to cap things off. Let's see what we can do with these signs. Now, the first generation game had these as signs, and the future generations had them as not signposts, post boxes. I guess I can always go back and update them, but let's assume that they're signs. What can we do? I'm just gonna say, you know what, let's come up with my own design. As it stands, yes, I would have to order a heck of a lot of tiles, plates. We'd be looking at goodness knows how much. Now, it's a shame that they don't have this brick without the stud on the sides. That would have been perfect for this. How many pieces? We can find out actually. Once I'm done here, I'll see if I can actually calculate them. Yes, for those who are unaware, this is a project I've set myself, which is to build my version of Pallet Town from the Pokémon games. So this is something that I will be looking to build. And as I was saying to the folks earlier, I am considering using alternative brands to build this, along with all the Lego parts that I actually have. I'll just add some, make it so difficult to place parts in this sometimes. Just going to add those tiles to fill in the gaps. Alright, so that's my basic rendition of a sign. And that's what I have at the moment. Now, unfortunately, I've gotten rid of most of the studs, so I can't really place this figure. Maybe over here. And we can see that's way too short for the figure, the sign. What can we do about that? We can go back in and can get rid of this. Thank you, guys. So I see this serving quite a few purposes. That's too big. Well, not quite Britain bricks. I'd have to. I wouldn't look to order anything until I'd say I have most of the design done. But I can also imagine that I'd have to order things gradually because I'd want to see how much of the stuff I have already. And I know there's going to be some bits that I won't have. And I would imagine that it won't be a particularly quick process to order the parts. How's it going, Demos? Or Demos? Let's make this. I mean, that's better in terms of the size of the sign, but that's a preliminary design anyway. We can go with something else eventually. So we're going to call it at this point, and I think I've made some pretty good progress here. I didn't expect to get this far. So we got the basic layout of the town. Got some very basic trees. We can see that it's going to be minifigure scale, and we can always come back and revisit some of these things. But one of the biggest challenges which I'm going to have to face is building the actual houses, and that kind of scares me actually, because they're obviously going to be the focal points of the build. But I think we're going to have to tackle that in part 2. So I want to say thank you guys for joining me for this very first part of building Pallet Town, and I'm excited for the next parts. Also kind of scared. Thank you guys for playing along as usual. And until next time, this has been your host SilentMode, maker, artist, and LEGO enthusiast. As always, encouraging you all to do your thing.